Hi, I'm Daniel Kline. I'm with Sub2 Freedom. Today I'm going to do a video about just very basic real estate terms. I'm not making this video to be condescending in any way, but remember, school doesn't teach us this stuff. And so if you want to get started in real estate, you need to know what these terms are. And today I'm going to go over with you what is real estate, what is a mortgage, and all of the components of the mortgage. What is a down payment? What is equity? What is a landlord? What is a tenant? And then the difference between a flip and rental. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe. It's free. My promise to you is that I'm going to continue to pump out information to you that will be valuable in your real estate journey. So I got started in 2002. I was 26 years old. And I was renting an apartment. Never bought a house for myself. We didn't have YouTube, by the way. So basically whatever I learned was from going to, a meetup or finding a mentor, which is what I did and how I became so successful. But I didn't have a place to go to find this information. So I want to provide this information to you because it's important to know. Let's admit it, they don't teach this stuff in school. And so let's get started. I'm gonna show you some stuff. All right. So let's talk about real estate. What is real estate? Real estate constitutes, there's two pieces to real estate. The first is land, okay? So real estate sits on land, and let's build our little house here. One door. This is called, this is one house. We call this in the business a single family home, okay? And so you have land, sits on land, and then you have the structure, single family home. Let's talk about, well, what if you have one of these? We call that a duplex. So it's two houses and they are connected by one common wall, okay? We also call that two doors, okay? Is that real estate? Yes, it is. It sits on land and there's a structure on the land. Now, the beautiful thing about real estate is that there's only so much land to go around, okay? And then once all the land is developed, then there's still a demand for real estate. And so if there's a demand but not a supply, what happens to prices? They go up. We're seeing that right now in the majority of our markets in the United States, where there's a huge demand for real estate, homes, apartments, that sort of thing, and there's not enough of it. So speaking of apartments, let's say you're driving down the road and you see some apartments out the window. Is that real estate? Yes. It's a structure, sits on land. Let's say you're going down the street and you see an office building. Is that real estate? Absolutely. It's land and there's a structure on that land. Okay. The apartments and the office building, we call that commercial real estate. So that's not single family homes or residential real estate. That is commercial real estate. Okay. So that is what real estate is. All right. Let's talk about a mortgage. What is a mortgage? Okay. A mortgage is a loan. So, but it's a particular type of loan. It's a loan that goes on real estate, a mortgage, okay? Now there's four components to a mortgage, okay? And let's go over that. First is principal. Second one is interest. Third part is taxes. And then the fourth part is insurance. Okay? In the business, we call that PITI. PITI. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. I'll write that here. PITI. Okay? So, we just got another vocabulary word. What is principal? Well, let's take a $100,000 loan, and this is just an example. So these aren't real numbers. Okay, let's take a $100,000 house, or excuse me, $100,000 mortgage, and let's say that the monthly payment is $1,000. Okay, let's say that $300 is principal, and then actually that's too much. Let's do $200 in principal. Let's do $500 in interest. Let's do $200 in taxes. And then let's do $100 in insurance. So that's $7,000, $9,000, $1,000. Okay. So the $200 would be, if you have $100,000, oops, $100,000 mortgage, you make your payment, $300 is coming off of that. It's coming off of what you owe the bank. Okay. So there's only a small portion of money in the mortgage payment that's actually reducing the amount that you owe on the loan to the bank, or in other words, your mortgage. Okay. Most of, when you first take out a mortgage, most of the payment is interest. Okay. And then the longer that the loan goes for, then it kind of does like this: interest, principal. And the longer the loan goes, it goes like this. Then interest, it's the same payment, it's the same amount, but it's how is it applied, okay? And it goes just like this. So whereas interest is the largest part of the payment initially, as you go through the years, then principal starts to grow and interest starts to decline, okay? Until you eventually pay off your mortgage, and then you own your house, what we call free and clear, or in other words, debt-free, outright. You don't owe anything on it. It's 100% paid for. Okay. So so we've got principal of $200, and I put 3 over here. I meant to put 2. $500 in interest, $200 in taxes, $100 in insurance. Okay. Those 4 things constitute a mortgage: principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. PITI. Okay. Perfect. All right, now let's talk about what is a down payment. A down payment is a chunk of money that you put down on a piece of real estate. So let's go ahead and use that $100,000 sales price. Okay, and you're going to buy this property for $100,000. Let's say that you're going to go get a mortgage, and the mortgage company on a FHA mortgage, which stands for Federal Housing Administration. That's what's called a government-backed, or a government-insured loan. They require 3.5% down payment. Or in this case, it would be $3,500. Now you're left with $96,500. That is what's going to be your loan amount. Okay? And the bank wants you to have some skin in the game. Okay? They want you to have some skin in the game, some out-of-pocket costs. That way, if for some reason that you don't make your payments, you lose that down payment, and it's that much more painful, so you're more likely to make those payments. That's what the bank is thinking. Okay? So down payment is any portion of money that you put towards the purchase price of a house, and then the remaining balance would be what you're financing, or what your mortgage balance would be, or what you're what your mortgage balance would be. Okay, so that is what is a down payment. Now, how much down payment do all of us want to give? As little as possible. Okay, FHA is one of the cheapest ways to go for a house that you're going to move into and buy yourself, because 3.5% is one of the lowest down payment requirements of any of the mortgages out there in the marketplace. Okay, perfect. All right, let's talk about equity. I love this subject. Equity is a good subject. So let's talk about equity. So equity, let's go with that same $100,000 house. These are just made up numbers, guys. I mean, I'm just using 100,000 because it's an easy number. Let's say the house, the value is $100,000. Okay, and let's say that we still owe the bank. Let's say we still owe the bank $65,000. So we owe the bank. So this is our mortgage balance, okay? Remember, we just talked about a mortgage. So this is the loan on the property, and your payoff or your balance is $65,000. What is your equity? So if you have a $100,000 value and you have $65,000 that you owe the bank, what is your equity? How much equity do you have in the property? The formula for figuring that out is the value less what you owe the bank equals your equity. In this case, your equity would be $35,000. So remember, equity is the difference between what the house is worth less anything that you owe on it. That is your equity. So that end number. So value minus what you owe equals equity. Okay? You could also say equity could be your profit. Let's say you bought this $100,000 house. Let's say it's a $100,000 house. You bought it for $65,000. How much equity do you have just moving into the property and buying it right? That's right, $35,000. Okay. All right. All right. Let's talk about what is a landlord. So a landlord is someone that buys real estate for the sole purpose of renting it. Okay. Why would anyone do that? Why would someone buy a house for the sole purpose of renting it as opposed to moving into it? Well, here's why. Again, we're going to use $100,000. So $100,000 purchase price. Let's say that the mortgage is $1,000. Remember the PITI? Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So it's the full complete payment. Okay? And then let's say that they're charging $1,500 in rent. What's left over? Well, if you do the math, $1,000 mortgage payment, $1,500 rent, looks like you got $500 left over. What do you do with that $500? Anything you want. Take your significant other out for dinner, pay an electric bill, pay your credit card, pay your automobile, whatever it is that you want to do. That's why landlords get into the business of renting properties. Okay, this $500, there's a word for it. Okay, I'm going to teach you that here too. It's called cash flow. How many of you guys would like have an extra $500 every single month in cash flow? In other words, you took out a loan, your payment's $1,000, you're charging someone to rent the house for $1,500, and now you got a $500 pay raise. How many of you guys would like that? I like that. That's really nice. What if you did that 10 times? What if you had $5,000 coming in the door? So we do that times 10. Now you got a $5,000 a month pay raise. How many of you guys would take a $5,000 a month pay raise? I'll take it. That's pretty good. That's what a landlord is. That's what a landlord does. That is why landlords buy properties solely for the purpose of renting. All right. Now, let's talk about a tenant. Tenant. I personally love tenants. Why? Because I'm a landlord. Okay, and landlords should love all of their tenants because the landlord, the tenant is occupying that property and paying the landlord's mortgage typically. So a tenant is, another word for a tenant is a renter. Okay, and remember that $100,000 house that we had with a $1,000 mortgage payment and a $1,500 rent payment. Well, who's paying that rent? Well, the tenant is paying that rent. So the tenant actually occupies the landlord's property. They have a lease in place that stipulates, how much is the payment, when do they make the payment, where do they make the payment, for what property, who can occupy the property. All of those details are in the lease. Okay, and they're paying $1,500 in rent, which remember leaves $500 a month. Oops, $500 a month in. You said cash flow. You're right. $500 a month in cash flow. Now, would you rather be the landlord or would you rather be the tenant? I'd rather be the landlord. Why? Because my payment's $1,000. The tenant's payment's $1,500. Landlord gets $500 a month in cash in his pocket. Plus, remember that mortgage? Remember that mortgage? And it was $1,000 and $200 of it went towards principal. Now, what is principal again? Principal is the reduction of your debt. So every month that this tenant pays their $1,500 a month in rent, this landlord puts $500 a month of cash in their pocket after they pay their mortgage. And then additionally, on the mortgage, $200 of that goes towards reducing the amount that they owe to the bank. So that's great. So in essence, this landlord is making $500 in spendable cash, but he's also building $200 in what? Equity. Remember the word equity that we talked about? It's reducing the amount, so it's a $100,000 value. We had talked about a $65,000 mortgage when we were talking about equity. Well, every month that this tenant pays their rent, $500 in cash goes in the landlord's pocket, plus he's reducing what he owes to the bank of that $65,000. So he's actually getting paid twice. How do you like that? I love that. That's why I'm a landlord. All right, so that's what a tenant is. All right, let's talk about the difference between a flip and a rental. So I've practiced both of these investment types. I've flipped houses, and I also am a landlord, so I have rental properties. And so a flip is, let's say, let's go a little bit higher. Let's say a $200,000 house. That's the value of the property. And let's say that you're able to buy this for $100,000. And you're saying, but Daniel, why would anyone sell a $200,000 house for $100,000? Because it needs $50,000 in repair. Okay? So we need $50,000 in repair. And so what does that equal? That equals, there's another $50,000 left over. So $200,000 value, less the $100,000 purchase, less $50,000 in repair, leaves $50,000 of what? If you said equity, you're right. All right, so you got $50,000 in equity. Well, what if you went ahead and just sold that house? And, you know, are you going to get the full $50,000? No, because you have some expenses on the sale. But just for the sake of this demonstration, let's say you just went and sold the house. And you sold it for the $200,000 after you'd done the $50,000 in repairs. You put $50,000 in your pocket. How many of you guys would like $50,000 in your pocket? I like it. So that's what a flip is. It's where you purchase a home, you make repairs to it, and then you sell it. Could be like a house hack. Let's say you move into the house. You bought the house for, or the house is worth $200,000. You bought it for $100,000, and then you do repairs while you're living there. And then once you're done with the repairs, then you sell the property, take that $50,000, and then go buy another house and either use that $50,000 to reinvest in the new house, or use the $50,000, say, to get out of debt, or you know, to go on your dream vacation. I'd highly recommend that you reinvest it. Don't spend that money. Start snowball. Roll that money back in, so that $50,000 becomes $75,000, becomes $150,000, and it just keeps accumulating. Okay. But that is a flip, where you buy the property with the express intent of doing the repairs. You're buying it at a discount. Your intent is to do the repairs and then to resell that property for a profit. That's a flip. All right, so what's a rental? Let's use this same one. Excuse me. Let's say it's $200,000 value. You buy it for $100,000. You put $50,000 into it. But now instead of selling the property, you're going to be a landlord. Remember when we talked about being a landlord? You're the person that bought the house with the express intent of leasing it, not moving into it, but to lease it. So on a $100,000 sales price, let's say your mortgage is $1,000. Okay, remember principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That's your four components of your mortgage. Okay, and then Your rent, now remember this is a $200,000 house, so rent's going to be a little bit more than the $100,000 house. Let's say that you can rent this house for $2,000. Okay, what's left over? If you said $1,000, you're right. There's one other part to that, cash flow. You have $1,000 a month in cash flow. Okay? That's good money. How many of you guys would like $1,000 a month of money coming in the door, whether you work or you don't work, whether you're on vacation or not on vacation? You know, it's like making money while you sleep, right? Because the first of the month's always going to come up, right? So the first of the month, instead of dreading having to make all of your payments, heck, I'm excited about the first of the month. That's when all the mailbox money comes in. That's when I make. That's when I make all of my money. So I don't worry about the first of the month because I'm paying bills, but that's also when I get the majority of my money. So I love the first of the month. And this investor right here loves the first of the month. So this is a rental investment strategy where instead of flipping it and getting the $50,000, you keep that property and get $1,000 a month in cash flow. What else is happening to that house? Well, this $200,000 value, is that going up or is it going down? Well, if you said going up, you're accurate. Could the house go down in value? Sure. Historically, no. So the $200,000 value is going to continue to go up. This $100,000 that you purchased the property for and put a mortgage on, that's going down, and you're putting $1,000 a month in your pocket. So you're making money several different ways. You're making money through the appreciation or the increase in value in the property. You're making money because your renter is making your mortgage payment for you, which, remember, the principal portion of the mortgage payment reduces the mortgage balance. Plus, you're putting $1,000 a month in cash flow in your pocket. Plus, you also have a bunch of tax write-offs. I won't get into details about the tax write-offs, but just know there are significant tax write-offs by being a landlord. So you're making money in several different places. We call that leverage. So you've leveraged yourself. You're doing one activity, but you're getting paid multiple different ways. Appreciation, reduction in your mortgage, the cash flow, tax benefits. So my question to you is would you rather flip the property for a quick $50,000, or would you rather hold that as a rental and get paid 4 to 5 different ways and hold that over time? For me personally, I do both. So if I need cash, I go buy a property, I flip it, but what do I do with the cash? I go buy a rental, okay? Because I love rentals. I love getting paid multiple different ways. I love passive cash flow, and I certainly love tax write-offs. So, but both of them are good strategies to do, and so that's the difference between a flip and a rental. Guys, I hope you learned something today. You know, the dumbest question is the question not asked. So if you guys have questions, hit me up in the comments below. I'll get you an answer as quickly as I possibly can. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and also check out below in the comments, in the description rather, in this video, we'll have some free materials for you, some free things that I think that you'll find some value. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. I'm Daniel with Sub2 Freedom. See you later.